Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth, and I am coming to you with one more video for the month of April from a different angle. This is the shelf where I keep the majority of my Christian fiction, with the exception of a couple of my favorite author collections that I have in the office where I usually do my filming. So I wouldn't normally film from this angle, but these shelves are, the floor is right here. Normally I stand when I'm filming, and there was just not really a good way to do this without just getting on the floor myself, where you can see all of my fat rolls and showing you these books. And the reason I wanted to go ahead and do this in April is because we had Amish in April, and I've been reading predominantly Amish books this month, which for the most part, the ones I've been reading are Christian fiction. Well, it's actually been about half and half. Some I read were Amish cozy mysteries. But anyway, I've been doing some more Christian fiction related videos in regards to Amish in April. I did an author interview yesterday of a debut author, and I want you to be sure and check that out if you haven't already, because her first book I just read this month and it was fantastic. So I want to be sure that you know about it. Also, I did recently a Christian fiction book haul. I will have some other book hauls coming since next month, for May, which is tomorrow. I usually read predominantly middle grade. I will show you my most recent middle grade acquisitions, um, at some point after tomorrow. And then I have, though, sorry, I'm getting tangled up. A few other book hauls I have. Besides middle grade, I've got a romance book haul, and that may be it. Oh, and another cozy mystery book haul. So those will be coming. But since I just did the Christian fiction book haul, and I also recently got in here and went through all my books with my Kindle and made sure that they were all cataloged. And then I just this morning went through my newer books and made sure that those were cataloged. I had cataloged a few of them, and a few of them I had not. So I cataloged those on my Kindle, and I really enjoy having that app. It's called Book Catalog, and catalog is spelled, the end of it, GUE. I guess is the European spelling of catalog. But anyway, I enjoy having those cataloged because then I can take my Kindle to book sales and used bookstores and be able to know at a glance what I have and what I don't. The problem is when I don't update it frequently, then I might go shopping, within a close amount of time from the last shopping trip. And if I don't have everything cataloged, then I can end up with duplicates, which I have done. So anyway, all that to say, I just went through everything just to see if I had missed anything and what I want to do today, because someone did ask me a while back, and here comes a cat. Okay, you just saw the tail. She went through quick. Let me introduce. This is Sweetie. She is our only calico now because I lost my little boo on my birthday last year, and she was calico. Anyway, Sweetie is, oh goodness, she was a kitten in 2012, and I brought her from Oklahoma when I went for my 30-year high school class reunion, and so that's how old she is. And she's the picture of health. The vet couldn't hardly believe that she was as old as she is. Anyway, enough about her. So someone asked me if I would do a Christian fiction bookshelf tour. I think it was last year when I was going through all of my cozy mysteries and doing a cozy mystery shelf tour, or showing my collection. So I think I'm going to break it up a little bit and not get into the minutia of all the standalones and things like that, because these are predominantly all unread. I have read a few of these, but there are a few standalones here that I have not read, or maybe, there she goes again, there's the tail. I saw someone's BookTube spin video was the best BookTube cat ever. I have to think who it is, because her cat was just at a perfect angle, and even when Rick McDonnell watched the video, he said the best BookTube cat. So anyway, I will try to find that and put it down below. I can't even remember who it was, but it was hilarious. This cat was great. Okay, so what I want to do today basically is just focus in to the series, my unread series that are here that I own, that I've collected, and there are a couple of series I'm still trying to fill in the blanks, but I've got several series here on this shelf that I own the whole series and I've not started. Now these three shelves are what I'm talking about, and they are double stacked. There is another whole row of books behind them. I've actually got a little bit of space here, but that's good because I've got a box of the books that I just hauled, and so they need to find their way to this shelf, at least some of them. I did move, you probably can't see it real well, but right up here are the Barber short story books. I just hauled 2 of those, and I have, well, I was going to get one down, but I can't. I have 9 of them up there now, and I have a couple of Christmas books. Maybe next year I will do a random drawing and try to read one of those every month. I think I probably have 12 of them by now. So that might be kind of fun. All right. So, and actually this one is a Barber book too. It's just, it doesn't match the others. It doesn't have the French flaps, but it is published by Barber. I might stick that up here too. Okay. So let's get started. I'm going to just go ahead and take down the books that are here so that we can see what's behind them. And as we go, I'll talk about the different series. Now, one thing that might drive some of you crazy, these are not alphabetized. It just wasn't possible because some of them are different heights and these shelves are different heights, and I just had to put them where they would fit. Like some of these Laurie Wick books are taller, but they would not fit on the bottom shelf. Normally, I would go A to W and they would go down here, but they won't fit. So I had to put them up there. All right, so let's just go in no certain order. We'll just go with the order that they are here. And I'll talk mainly about the series that I have. So I have 3 books by Melody Carlson from the Whispering Pine series. And I think I'm still missing the first one of these. I have Someone to Belong To, Looking for You All My Life, and Everything I Long For. These just look idyllic. And this is exactly the kind of covers that I'm drawn to. I have read a couple of other Melody Carlson books, and I have enjoyed them. Mostly what I have by her is Christmas books. She's got a lot of Christmas books, but that just looks like a really good series. So here's another short story book, The Oklahoma Weddings. I've got a pretty large Laurie Wick collection. I just hauled White Chocolate Moments in my last haul. These 2 are series books, but I don't own the series. One of them is Rocky Mountain Memories, and one of them is the Kensington Chronicles. And I don't even know what books these are in the series. I have not collected them. I think someone gave me one of these, and then I think this one I found at a thrift store, and I just hated to leave empty-handed, and I recognized the author, and I just got it. So I'm not going to rush to collect the rest of those until I read a couple more of her series. So I've got this whole series. This is A Place Called Home. That's the series name, and that's the name of the first book. Then I have Song for Silas, The Long Road Home, and A Gathering of Memories. I don't know anything about these. And as I'm coming to these, if you've read any of the series, or if you've completed the series or whatever, or if you own them and you're like me and you want to buddy read them, because I haven't read these. If I get to one I've read, I'll let you know, but most of these I have not. Then I think this is just a trilogy, and I don't know if you have to read these in any sort of order. These are just all women's names. They look historical. I have Jessie, Sabrina, and Cassidy. So they're just going to keep falling until I get them off. Oh, well, here's another one. Where the Wild Rose Blooms. This is from the Rocky Mountain series. Oh, and this is from the Rocky Mountain series. See, look at that. I didn't even know. I do have 2 from this series. Well, if you have 2, you've almost got a collection, so I guess I will have to collect the rest of these. They're not the same editions, and I don't know, I don't have the numbers in here, what they are. All right, then this is the next series by Laurie Wick that I want to read, and look at these covers. These gorgeous. This one's probably the first one. It's the Tucker Mills trilogy. If you can hear the dog barking in the background, they're outside on the porch barking to come in. But if I let them in, they're going to be right here. I might pause it and let them in when I get done, so to let you see them. Since I'm filming on the floor, you can actually meet the dogs if you haven't seen a video with them already. Okay, so I have Moonlight on the Mill Pond. Look at that. It's so pretty. And number 2, I believe this is number 2, just above a whisper. And Leave a Candle Burning. I think these are on audio now. For the longest time, only 1 and 3 were on Hoopla, and I think they finally put book 2 on Hoopla. I was all prepared to, read the second one in print. I just never got to them because I said I wasn't going to start this trilogy until I read this series, which I did. I listened to all of these on audio. I own old tape cassette versions of the first one and the fourth one, and then they did turn up on Hoopla finally, and I was able to listen to books 2 and 3 on Hoopla. So I started this series years ago. This is the English Garden series. Again, beautiful covers. The Proposal is book 1, and I have listened to this a total of 3 times now, but I own it, so it's not a big deal. I have it on cassette. I maybe even listened to it more than that. Partly it's because I enjoy it. I read it the first time, I listened to it, and then I couldn't get the second one on audio, so I just kind of put it aside and never did anything else with the series. And then when I was at some other point, I guess, I thought, that was really good. I'm going to listen to that again. And because I owned it, why not? That's what you should do. You should reread books, right? And still never got to the second one. And then finally, during my 20 by 20 challenge, I said, okay, I am going to listen to all of these now, and I just went ahead and started back over from the beginning. They could be read standalone. They could be read as standalones, but there are connections. They all take place in this one community. They are historical, 1813, 1812, 1811. Yeah, so I'm going to guess this was 1810. Yes. So The Proposal. So each take place a year apart. Then we have The Rescue, The Visitor, and The Pursuit. So I guess since I've read these, I could tell you a little bit about them. They are, the first one is about a woman, and I'm going to get this wrong, because, even though I've read it 3 times now, because when I was trying to talk about it, when I was going to reread it for the 3rd time, I totally had the synopsis wrong. So now I'm afraid to tell you, because if you go back, if you ever happen to watch one of my older videos where I'm talking about that, I was completely off. It had something to do with this young woman. I thought at first that she was like the nanny of this man's kids, but that was wrong. She did help take care of them, but this man who is not a father. Okay, now I know what it is. Okay, and what I'm talking about is The Proposal. Okay, he's not a father, but he becomes the guardian of his cousin's children, I believe. And he's always just been kind of a bachelor and didn't really ever plan to marry or have children or anything. There are 2 boys and a girl. So when he becomes the guardian of them, he thinks, oh, okay, well, I'm not ever going to have kids of my own, so I'll just take these 2 boys under my wing and I will teach them the ways of the world, and, they will grow up under my care, and I'll really make men out of them, and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, there's a little girl. They have a little sister, and he thinks, well, I don't have any use for girls, so I'll just find her a nanny, and, eventually she can just go to a boarding school, and, he basically was just going to push her off and give her not another thought. Well, the 2 brothers were not having that. They were going to protect their little sister, and it finally became clear. Excuse me one second. I don't like to cough on camera. Okay, so it finally became clear that they were not going to take advantage of his education or even be willing participants in the activities and the things that he had planned for them unless their sister could be involved. And so the nanny that he first hired turned out to be awful. And so then there's kind of a whole side story with her. But then this woman who is a neighbor, somehow he gets acquainted with her. And I don't think she becomes their nanny, but she does end up helping in their care. And then, of course, eventually they kind of fall in love, but he's still determined to be a bachelor, and he's, not going to be, not have anything to do with the relationship. So anyway, it's still a romance, but very slow burn. Very, very, very. And then the other 3 books are about other people in their community. They are Christian books, and I enjoyed them, but very slow, just slow paced. Then I've got a standalone by her, The Princess I Have Not Read. Okay, so back here we've got a few series and a collection and a couple of standalones by one of these authors that's back here. So, a funny story, there were some friends that were over here one day last year. A woman from our church, and she has 2 teenage daughters. Well, one's in her 20s and one is about Katie's age. And the one that's about Katie's age, well, they all love to read. But the younger one, while the mom and I were chatting, she was over here looking at my books. And I said, oh, yeah, that's all my Christian fiction. And she's like, oh, I've read this. Oh, I love this. Oh, I want to read this. And she was just getting so excited over my books. And they, at the time, were building a house and living in their RV. So everything was packed away. And I said, well, borrow some, by all means. So she was really excited about that. But she pulled the top layer off, and then she saw this series back here by Lawana Blackwell. And she said, Mom, she's got the Gresham Chronicles. And so her mom was telling me that she used to babysit Lawana Blackwell's child or children while she was writing these. So that's a pretty cool thing. It was in another state. I don't even know what state. But this is an example of another series that I was completely drawn to because of the covers. They're just gorgeous. And I've heard from a couple of other people that have read these that these are really good books. So it's a 4-book series. The Widow of Larkspur Inn is the first one. And number 2 is The Courtship of the Vicar's Daughter. Just beautiful books. And of course, these are historical. I have no idea what time frame they're set in. But anyway, The Dowry of Miss Lydia Clark. And The Jewel of Gresham Green. So aren't those beautiful? Have any of you read these? I've heard really good things about them. This is a series that I would like to get to pretty soon. I think they're on Scribd, on audio. And I will be excited to get to those. All right, then I have got a series of 5 books by T. Davis Bunn and Isabella Bunn. And these are the spin-off books, or the spin-off series of the Song of Acadia series by T. Davis Bunn and Janette Oke, which I've read and loved. I had wanted to collect these before I started reading them, and it took me forever to get book 2. I finally got book 2 a couple years ago when I was visiting my sister. We found it, I think that's when we found it, at Gardner's Bookstore, which is the largest used bookstore in Oklahoma. Is that when I found it? I feel like that is. Or maybe I found book 5 then. I don't know. I just have this memory of finding one of them there. Anyway, these are blurbed by Janette Oke, but she did not, she was not a writer of these, but they are a spin-off series of her books. So I believe Isabella Bunn is Davis Bunn's wife, and this is the Heirs of Acadia series. So I may have to, I said I was going to probably try to reread some of the Song of Acadia series, and I did listen to maybe book 3 or 4, because that was what was on Audible Plus, or Audible Escape. But I think they're on Hoopla now. So I probably just need to pick back up with maybe books 4 and 5 in that series before I move on to these, just to refresh myself. Okay, so book 1 is The Solitary Envoy. Book 2, The Innocent Libertine. Book 3, The Noble Fugitive. I hope these are in the right order. I think they are. If they're not, I'm sorry. Number 4, The Night Angel. And number 5, Falconer's Quest. So those look really good. The first series is just fantastic. The Song of Acadia series. It starts out with these 2 women. One is French and one is English, and they live in Acadia, which is, I guess, a Canadian area. And they became friends. They both had babies, and the French woman could not get child care for her, or not child care, medical care for her child. There was like a very much of a class distinction. And so the English woman said, let's trade children for today so that I can take your child to the doctor. And at that exact day, that evening, all the French people were shipped out to Louisiana. So basically, their children got swapped, and the British child went with the French family to Louisiana, and the French child stayed with the English family, and they were raised like that. So it goes from there, and then eventually throughout the series, the girls are grown, and you learn the story of how it all plays out, but it's just so good. So I'm really curious to know how things continue on in those books. I've got a couple of other Davis Bunn books here. Miramar Bay, I've heard, is really good. I don't know if it's a duology or if there's more than these, but I think there's at least this one and the sequel on Hoopla, and I want to get to that. I've heard it's really good. One of my subscribers, you guys, someone is probably watching this right now that said, oh yeah, I was reading that, because I remember you telling me that this was really good. The Centurion's Wife, I don't know. This is a dual authors. This is by Davis Bunn and Janette Oke, and I don't know anything about that. I'm assuming that's biblical fiction. I've got a collection of these Love Finds You books, and I'm pretty sure that these are all standalones. I don't even know the first one I got of these, probably because I picked up one of these Florida ones first. Love Finds You in Holiday, Florida. So cute. And then later in Treasure Island, Florida. I don't even know which one of these I got first. And then every once in a while, if I would see one and it was a good price or a fill a bag, I would grab it. Love Finds You in Snowball, Arkansas. That looks cute. Love Finds You in Branson, Missouri. I have been to Branson, Missouri a couple of times. Oh, and these are by different authors. I'm sorry, I haven't been saying the authors. Love Finds You in Prince Edward Island, Canada. Oh my goodness. I would love to go to Prince Edward Island, Canada. Yes, definitely. Okay, so here is a series. I believe I have all of them now, and I can't remember how to pronounce this author's name, if it's Rebecca Seitz or Seitz. But this is scrapbooking or paper crafting themed fiction. So this is book 0. It must be a prequel. I don't know if it came out first or if it came out after she had already published book 1, but it's called Prince Charming. It's cute. And then book 1 is Sisters Inc. I've not read any of these. Book 2, Coming Unglued. I have shown these. I did a video about scrapbooking fiction several years ago, and I did show these then. Scrapping Plans. Yeah. And then Perfect Peace. So those look really fun. I'm always drawn to everything scrapbooking, even though I haven't worked on my scrapbooks in years. I have read this one. This is book 3 in a trilogy, and I've finished the whole trilogy. Was it just 3? Yeah, I really hope that I had been hoping, I've kind of given hope now that there would be any more. This was an arc that the publisher sent me, and I loved it, and I listened to the other 2 in the series as well. It's the Vintage National Park series by Karen Barnett. This is an older trilogy that I have not read and it's a Guidepost series by Brenda Wilby. The first one is Sweetbriar. The next one is Sweetbriar Bride. My sister sent me this one, and then I had to look to find the first one, and then I found the third one at a thrift store somewhere when I was traveling. Sweetbriar Spring. And those look fun, and yeah, look at that. They're old Guidepost books. Okay, I'm not going to put these back up until I show you the rest of these. And let's just keep going. This, I hope, is going to be more in this series. The publisher sent me the second book because I thought it sounded interesting. It's a Christian mystery, Unveiling the Past by Kim Vogel Sawyer. So then later I was at a book warehouse kind of store, and I found I think this is the first one. A Promise of... No, it's not. I don't think it is. In fact, I know it's not. Where is it? The first one of this series is called Bringing Maggie Home, and it made... Oh, here it is. Okay. Got them out of order. Bringing Maggie Home. That's the first book in this series. And let's see the name of the series, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's a mystery, Christian mystery series. Then this is by the same author, but I don't think it's connected. It might be a standalone. So, A Promise of Spring. For Spring. Okay. I have a few, I gotta go into all these. A few books by Ruth Livingston Hill. I believe she is the daughter of Grace Livingston Hill. Maybe. This is a series I picked up I think at our library. It's also a guidepost series. Looks fun. I think they're different authors. Nantucket Dreams. I don't know the order. Seaside Harmony, I think, is first. Whispers on the Dock. And Sunflower Summer. I don't know if there's any more of these, but again, look at these covers. Guideposts, even though these are paperbacks, most of their books are not. They do such a beautiful job with their covers. I'm sorry, Sunflower Summer is book 2. Whispers on the Dock is book 3. All right, here's a few standalones. I'm not going to go into those at this moment. This one, I don't own any more of these. It says it's book 1 in a series by Carol Gift Page, The House on Honeysuckle Lane. I think I got that at a book sale somewhere. That's another standalone. I just hauled the other 2 in this series. So I'm going to put these together on the shelf. That's not it. By Annette Smith. A Town Called Ruby Prairie is the first one. And then A New Day in Tanglewood. And then the third one, Charlotte Leaves the Light. These just look like they are for me. Perfect. I'm excited to get to those. Okay, then I also recently hauled the last one of these books, The Quilt Chronicles. Message on the Key on the Quilt, I think, is book 1. Shadow. I think this is Message on the Quilt, and then Shadow on the Quilt. Quilt Chronicles are by Stephanie Grace Whitson. I think my sister has read all of these and really enjoyed them. So that's another unread series that I need to read. I don't have this whole series by Robin Jones Gunn. It's the Glenbrook series. I've only got 3 of them: Clouds, Waterfalls, and Echoes. I started collecting Robin Jones Gunn books when I was sent this book from the publisher and really enjoyed it. So then they sent me the next book, Being Known, which I have not read yet. I have read this, really liked it. I don't think she's written any more or published any more from this series yet. I hope there will be more. So then, of course, I had to collect more. I think I already had this one on my shelf. It's a standalone, Gardenias for Breakfast. And then I got a few of the Sister Chicks books. I've only got 3 so far. I don't know the order. Sister Chicks Down Under. That one's got a little bit of damage. Sister Chicks Do the Hula. And Sister Chicks on the Loose. This may be book 1. Let's see. Yeah, this is number 1. Sister Chicks on the Loose. So, again, another series. And then these are a couple of, I think, from the Christy Miller series. I don't know if I'll hang on to these, but I'm curious to read at least the first one of those. Okay, so back here I've got some Francine Rivers books. I have read Redeeming Love. I used to have the trilogy. What's the one about Hadassah? I used to own it, Mark and the Lion, and I went ahead and when I finished that, passed that on to someone else because I just didn't have room to keep it. I've got a couple of books by Bodie and Brock Taney. More standalones. Let's see. These guidepost books. This is a duology. No, these are by Harvest House Publisher, and I think there's only 2 in this series. It's Tea with Millicent, and they're by Trish Perry. We have, I don't know the order, but I think there's just 2 of them. The Perfect Blend and Tea for 2. Then I have some Delia Parr books. I have finished reading the Candlewood trilogy. I sent my sister the 3rd one so she could finish it. I've got another trilogy by her, but the other 2 are mass market paperbacks, so they're in that other shelf. Abide With Me is part of the Home Ties trilogy. And then just a few other random books there. So I'm not going to go through those right now. I've got the Dearest Dorothy series here. I have some from 2 different editions, and I can't make up my mind. I have both editions of book 2. If I could ever find book 1 in softcover or book 2 in, or book, no. Yeah, or book 1 in, I can't even say it right. I think y'all understand what I'm saying. I would like to find ones that match. I hate to get, because what if I get rid of one or the other, and then I find the rest of the series in that edition that I just got rid of? That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. I just finished collecting this trilogy. My sister's been reading this one. I had these two. This is the Snow Globe something. I don't know. Let's just call it the Snow Globe trilogy. And one of them is over in my, it's called Divine Appointments, and I just hauled it. So I do have all 3 of those now. This is a duology by Judith Pella. I've never read any Judith Pella, but it's the Patchwork Circle duology, Bachelor's Puzzle, and Sister's Choice. I think these have some kind of quilt theme. I am going to try to binge read some Colleen Coble. I've got one of her Lone Star series over there. I have not collected a lot by her. I have this book 5 in the Rock Harbor mystery series, and I have not yet found any of the others. I'm probably just going to have to get them from the library. But I do have the first 2 in the Aloha Reef series. I think the first one is Distant Echoes, and then Black Sands. I have listened to a whole trilogy by her on audio on Audible, and I really liked them, and so I'd like to try to, read some more of hers this year. And then another author I'm going to binge later in the year is Laurie Copeland. I've got several of her standalones here, so I'm not going to go through all of those right now. But I did finish, just this year, the last 2 Brides of the West series. I've got them here in these bind-ups. There are 6 books in the series, and I'm happy to say that I finished those. I'm trying to think the order. Faith, June, and Hope, and Glory, Ruth, and Patience. Okay, then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more series down here, and all are unread. And I'm very excited about getting to them. I won't even pull them all out. I'll just pull out the first one. I have the whole Yada Yada Prayer Group series. It's a 7-book series by Nita Jackson. Well, actually, there's 2 different series by her, so I take that back. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the spinoff series is the House of Hope series, and it's a 4-book series. So Where Do I Go, I believe, is the next one. That series is on audio, but I have not been able to find the Yada Yada Prayer Group series on audio. And then I have 2 series by Michael Phillips. I am missing one in one of the series. Both the series are quartets. This series is the Shenandoah Sisters, and the first book, I think this is the first one, if they're in the right order. Angels Watching Over Me. I don't know. Anyway, I'll just take them out. I have all 4 of these. They don't have the numbers on the edges, and I failed to write them. I didn't. Okay, anyway, in no certain order. Angels Watching Over Me. Together Is All We Need. The Color of Your Skin Ain't the Color of Your Heart. And A Day to Pick Your Own Cotton. What I think this series is about, just based on the covers, is that it's set in the South during slavery, and it is about 2 girls, one who is a slave and one who is probably the daughter of the plantation owner, and they are friends, almost like sisters. So, and in fact, they very well could be sisters, half sisters, because we know how that went. I have 3 of these, but I don't know where the other one is. Huh. Thought I did. This is the Carolina Cousins series. Books 1 and 2 or 3. I know I'm missing one of these, but I don't know where the other one... I mean, unless it's a 3-book series, and I only have 2. I really thought it's a 4-book, and I am missing one. Anyway, I gotta stop rambling. Okay, so we have The Soldier's Lady and A Perilous Proposal. I don't know where the other one is, but oh, there it is. It got stuck in the back. Okay, here we go. Miss Katie's Rosewood is probably book 4. Yes. So, if my glasses will work, this is a tiny print too. All right, so book 1, book 2. I do not own book 3, and that's book 4. Okay. And then I was just talking about this series not very long ago because I finished the, I finally found the 6th book in the series on my trip. So I first found this first book at our library book sale, and it's called The Lumbee Lines, and it just looks like something I would love. And then so I had to go in search of the rest, and I have eventually now found them all, and I want to make sure I give you the right order. Stealing Lumbee, Lumbee's Bounty, The Promise of Lumbee, and Lumbee on the Air. And then, I can't even reach it anymore. I keep pushing it farther back. Lost in Lumbee was the one that I just hauled. So I'm excited that I have that whole series now. There's one more back here, but it's just a book of short stories that I have. So I'll probably, I think I was using it as a placeholder. So now I'll take it out and put the other Lumbee book there. So these are the, that was my Christian fiction in a nutshell, but mostly my series books. I didn't show you all the standalones. If you're interested in seeing some of those, I can always come back and do another video. I might even put these standalones like in my TBR jar and just keep this for series because I'm probably not going to have enough room to put everything back up here. I do have a few other Christian fiction series in other places in my house. So before I sign off, I will pause the camera and then I'll show you just at a glance a couple of the other places, and then I'll come back and sign off. Okay, in here in the office, for some reason I have this 5-book series in here instead of in there with the other Laurie Copeland books. But this is a 5-book series by Laurie Copeland and Angela Hunt that I have been wanting to read. My sister's read it, said it's really good. The Island of Heavenly Days is the first one. I have not read any of these. This is A Warmth in Winter. And I think this series has something to do with angels. Grace in Autumn. Then A Perfect Love. And Hearts at Home. So, that is a series that I've been wanting to get to. I had planned to read these for my 20 by 20 challenge, and I didn't. And so they still remain way up at the top of my metal shelves in the utility room. I have most of my guidepost books and some of my Annie's books. Actually, it's really only about half of my guidepost books. So I'm not going to go into all of these. Most of these are mysteries, and this video is about Christian fiction that are non-mysteries. But starting right here and going down, that is the first 10 of the Grace Chapel Inn series. And then behind that, all the way down, I've got at least, it's this back, the ones there. I think it's a 50-book series now, and I've got about 35 of them, give or take. So that is a series I have not started reading. As you can see, I have a huge collection, and I have recently hauled 2 more that I haven't even put up there yet. So that, plus most of the others that you see are either Annie's Mysteries or Guidepost Christian Cozy Mysteries. But the Tales from Grace Chapel Inn, I believe, is about 2 or 3 women who own a bed and breakfast. I've heard really good things about it. Hello, I'm going to insert another clip here because I went to start editing and putting together both of these videos that I'm doing today, and I decided that, well, first of all, I realized that what I thought was going to be the short version wasn't even all that much shorter than what I perceived to be the long version. So I figured if I'm going to do a short and a long version, I may as well make the long version longer and go ahead and show you the standalones. For those of you who wanted to see a bookshelf tour of my Christian fiction, I'm going to go ahead and just show you and add this into the long version. Later in the video, when I'm signing off, you may hear me say that I didn't show you the standalones, but that would be wrong at this point because I'm filming everything out of order. So I have gone back and pulled back the ones that I didn't talk about before, or at least didn't show you. All of these are unread, and if you've read any of them, let me know. If you want to read any of them, let me know. I did mention this one, I think, A Promise for Spring by Kim Vogel Sawyer. I don't know if it's part of a series or not, but I was going to put it with the other two books by her. Now, these I definitely did not mention. By Lorraine Snelling, on hummingbird wings. I picked this up in honor of my mom somewhere because my mom loved hummingbirds. She had several hummingbird feeders. They flocked to her feeders. She loved hummingbirds. And I think she read some Lorraine Snelling, so she may very well have read that book. This one I think my sister gave me, by Nancy Moser, A Steadfast Surrender. I don't know anything about that. This one I found somewhere, but it looked interesting because I am a scrapbooker, and it just looked like it had something to do with the journaling or something. It's called The Memory Book. Of course, The Memory Book. When I first looked at it, I thought it said Memory Box. But yeah, Memory Book. So scrapbooking, of course, by Penelope Stokes. Then I have a couple of books by Bodie and Brock Taney. I've got this paperback. I think this is the first in a series, but I'm not absolutely sure. Winds of Promise. It's from the Wayward Wind series. I think I got both of these in that big giant windfall of books that we got free several years ago, and I kept this one because I absolutely love this cover. Shiloh Autumn. It's just beautiful. Then I have a couple of Francine Rivers books. I have passed on some of the ones I've already read, but I have not read this one, Her Mother's Hope. I think this is the first of a duology. And then I also have Leota's Garden. And then I kept Redeeming Love. I love this cover. I have read this, and I really enjoyed it, so I decided to keep it. And so I'll put these back. Well, I don't like to take video time to put books away. Now they're all out of order, but it doesn't matter. They weren't really in a good order to begin with. All right, I've heard some negative reviews of this one, The Wedding Machine by Beth Webb Hart. I already had it on my shelf, so I'll form my own opinion. The Search Committee by Tim Owens. The subtitle says, Sheep Need a Shepherd, Some More Than Others. I found this somewhere, and I picked it up because at the time I had just recently served on a pastor search committee at the church that I used to go to, that we used to go to for many, many years. It eventually disbanded. I didn't have a bad experience on the search committee, but I just thought this sounded fun, and I don't know if this is comical or if it's serious. I really don't know. I've heard some good things about Ruth Logan Hearn. Ashley from Faithfully Moonstruck has read several by her, and so I found this somewhere and decided to pick it up. Running on Empty, it's called. The series that she mostly has talked about is more of a Western cowboy series. But that sounds really good. I don't have any of those. And then I think my sister sent me a Christmas book by her, which is in my Christmas stuff. And by the way, that reminds me, I talked about Robin Jones Gunn. I do have 2 out of the 3-book series in my Christmas books of the Father Christmas series. So I didn't show that here because I don't have my Christmas books out here. All right, Destiny Junction by Michael Phillips. I showed you 2 other series by him. The ones about the girls on the southern plantation. Hope Springs by Kim Cash Tate. Love Silent Song by June Masters Bacher. My mom had some of hers, and I want to say I've read some by her, but I don't remember what. This is a bind-up of 3 books by Jane Peart. The Orphan Train Trilogy, not to be confused with the more current, very popular series of Orphan Train Trilogy. This has Homeward, The Seeking Heart, Quest for Lasting Love, and Dreams of a Longing Heart. I want to say that I've read these, at least the first one, but it's been years, and I don't remember for sure. This is a book of short stories, Scraps of Love, with a quilting theme. My sister has this. I think I bought her a copy originally and sent it to her. She said she loved it. It's a keeper. And then I found another copy later, and she said, yes, you should read that. This is an old classic book by Harold Bell Wright, who also wrote Shepherd of the Hills. This is the printer of Udell's, and it's got a letter on the back from Ronald Reagan about how Harold Bell Wright made an impact on him, and that's pretty cool. I talked about that whenever I hauled it. This is part of a series, but the only one I'm really interested in having is the one that's named Elizabeth. Days of Loss and Hope. It's from the Daughters of Courage series by Donna Fletcher Crowe. And then I have another, I think this is the last one I'm going to show you. This is another scrapbooking themed book. It's by Leslie Gould, who I have read other books by, but I've not read this one. It's called Scrap Everything. And so that's a good one to end on. So I will go now to whatever other clip that I was going to put in, and then sign off. And I hope you've enjoyed this bookshelf tour. Bless your heart if you have watched both of these videos today. I only set out to make one, and it turned into two, and they turned out to be longer than I had planned. But it was fun to do this. I do need to get these organized a little bit better, and maybe even put some of these in my TBR jar. I just found two more that I forgot about. This one was in some free stuff that someone gave me, Married in Black by Christina Cordair. I think this is Christian fiction, but I could be wrong. I have it in here, but yes, Crossings Book Club. So my mom used to belong to the Crossings Book Club. And then this one, I believe Catherine from Jane Catherine on Books sent this to me. She met this author, Jackie Riles, unless I'm confusing this with another book, but I think she sent me this from the UK. Yes, it is called A Time to Live and a Time to Die by Jackie, is it Riles? So thank you again, Catherine. It's been a couple years since she sent me this, and I still haven't read it. It may be nonfiction, but I don't know for sure. Okay, that is it. And I will go down to the next clip, and then thank you for sticking with me, and I'll talk to you soon. So when I went back to watch this, I realized that when I was showing you my standalones, I didn't come back here and show you my Laurie Copeland standalones. So I'm not going to take them off the shelf. I'm just showing you a shot here. I am going to be binge reading some Laurie Copeland, and I plan to read several of these sometime this summer. I can't even remember what month that I have scheduled to read some of her books, but you will see more of these in the near future. Well, since I decided to make this the extended version, I keep thinking of more clips to add, so there may be more clips after this one. But I realized that you couldn't see this Barber collection very well from the camera angle. And I used to have some of these down on the white shelves, but I just ran out of room and I kept collecting more. So I have, what is there here? 9 of these that are not Christmas. And I was saying that I had a few Christmas ones, maybe 2 or 3. And, you know, I think I made a comment earlier in either this video or the other one that, you know, I probably have enough to just read one a month, you know, for a whole year. Well, it turns out I have more than that because I went and got the Christmas ones. I've got 5 Christmas ones. So I have a total of 14 of these Barber books. Now, when I say Barber, I mean the publisher is Barber. So you can see the symbol there on the bottom of all the books. And so let me just show you these. I may as well even show you the Christmas ones since I got them out. A Patchwork Christmas Collection. I'm not going to read all the authors, but just show you quickly. A Log Cabin Christmas Collection. That one has some, at least one Wanda Brunstetter. An Old Fashioned Christmas Collection. These, I believe, are all historical and Christian themed. The 12 Brides of Christmas Collection. And a Pioneer Christmas Collection. So that's the Christmas ones. Then these, I think, are the 2 newest ones that I have just gotten. Of Rags and Riches. The Lone Star Romance Collection. The Immigrant Brides Collection. The Backcountry Brides Collection. They're so pretty. And they all have French flaps with a picture on the inside, which I won't take time to show you now. The Preacher's Bride Collection. You can sense that whole bride theme coming into these. The Farmer's Daughter Romance Collection. The Reluctant Brides Collection. The Homestead Brides Collection. And Where the Heart Is Romance Collection. And since this has turned into a whole Christian fiction bookshelf tour, I may as well show you my 2 large author collections. One of them is Janette Oke. I started reading her books in my early 20s, and I have read almost all of her series books. I have not read the Women of the West series, which are really all standalones in a collection. And I have not read the ones that she wrote with her daughter, as well as I think I haven't read the last 3 of the spin-off series from Love Comes Softly, which is called the Prairie Legacy series. So I have all of those and then half of this shelf. So starting there all the way over. She also has some children's books. I don't have all of them. I don't think this is all of them, but I've got 3 of them. I've run out of space. As you can see, those are not books by her, but from here over. And then let me show you my Grace Livingston Hill collection. This is most of the hardcovers that I own by Grace Livingston Hill. Some are newer book club editions, and some are the older, maybe first editions with dust jackets, a couple that don't have dust jackets. In fact, there are 4 without dust jackets in the living room that you may have seen up on top of my bookshelf where I keep my Christian fiction. I didn't call attention to them. They are just some that someone gave me, and they won't fit here on the shelf because farther on down the shelf I have my Lucy Maud Montgomery collection. So let me go around the corner and I'll show you my paperbacks. There are 100 paperbacks by Grace Livingston Hill. She did write more than 100 books, but a few of these are bind-ups of some shorter stories. And I have most of the 100. There are a few that I didn't collect in paperback because I knew I already had them in hardcover. I do have a few duplicates of, in hardcover. But for the most part, I think I have all 100 books in one form or the other, except for one called Honor Girl. And I've been looking for it. I just haven't found it. And definitely I have plenty to keep me busy. I have been trying to start at the beginning with number 1 and just read through. They're not sorry about my hand there. They are all standalones. There may be a very few that are sequels of one of her other books, but this collection was published just in a numbered collection, and I don't think there's really any rhyme or reason for the ordering of them. But I just thought it'd be fun to go back, since I have read a lot of these in my earlier days, and I have no recollection really of most of them. I just thought it'd be fun to go back and start from number 1 and read through them. It's just taken me some time. So that is my Grace Livingston Hill collection. So by this point, you know that I have ended up uploading 2 different videos today. When I first started filming this video, I was going to make it just about the series, the unread series that I own. And then when I did that first segment, it just expanded into pretty much an entire bookshelf tour, with the exception of some of my Christian fiction standalones. So I ended up just going ahead and deciding to keep this video, and then filmed what I hope will be a shorter version, which at this point I have already uploaded. So if you've watched both of them, thank you so much for doing that. Chat with me in the comments about any of these. This has just been a fun little bookshelf tour and a reminder of the Christian fiction books that I own that I haven't read, and a few that I have read that I ended up telling you about, even though I said I wasn't going to. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in buddy reading any of these books that I haven't read, let me know. That's the majority of what I own. It's enough to talk about for one day. And I hope you're having a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Meanwhile, read a good book, and God bless you.